If you're planning to launch or scale your cold email campaigns, this video is going to save you thousands of dollars by showing you everything that you need to know when it comes to cold email deliverability. And I'll show you everything that you need to do to make sure your emails are landing in primary inbox instead of spam folder. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Jovan and I've helped over 300 agencies book thousands of sales calls. I use AI and cold email to generate hundreds of sales calls for my own agency, Codeful, and I've built Prospi, which is an all-in-one AI cold email platform. The first thing that we need to understand is that if the email is not seen, it can't convert. And email deliverability is the ability of your emails to successfully reach the inbox of your recipients rather than ending up in the spam folder. Now, there are several factors why emails land in spam, like domain reputation, email infrastructure, and the quality of your email content and lead list. And in this video, I'm going to explain each one in detail and how you can prevent these issues. In order to solve these issues, first, we need to understand why emails land in spam in the first place. There are 6 most common factors when it comes to deliverability. The first one is poor sender reputation. We have spammy content, lack of authentication, high complaint rate, low engagement rates, and email list quality issues. Let's first discuss the sender reputation. Sender reputation is how email providers judge your trustworthiness. It's essentially how they decide if they should trust you or not. And poor email reputation increases the chances of you landing in spam drastically. In practice, there are 2 main layers of sender reputation that you need to manage. The first one is domain reputation, and the second one is email account reputation. As you can see here, we usually set up multiple domains and configure multiple email accounts per domain to make sure that our outreach infrastructure is actually scalable. When it comes to domain reputation, it's directly linked to email sending domain you're using, like yourcompany.com or tesla.com or whatever. Every single account that sends emails from that particular domain is contributing to the overall reputation of the entire domain. So how it works in practice is, let's say you send spammy content from one email account, all the spam filters and everything will first flag that single account, but if you continue doing that, they will flag the entire domain. So every single email account on that domain will be flagged as spam. And ultimately, if you continue doing that, you're essentially landing on a blacklist, which makes it not harder, but impossible to land in the primary inbox. You can actually check this information online if you want to check your domain's reputation just by searching for domain blacklists. It's public information. And the second layer, as I mentioned, is email account reputation. Email account reputation works at the individual email level, like john@yourcompany.com or elon@tesla.com. As I said, email spam filters, spam checkers usually check email account behavior, and if they find suspicious activity after some time, they actually flag the entire domain. What they check is the volume of emails that these accounts send, engagement rates, or if they have any complaints. That's why it's important to rotate between these accounts, and that's why we need multiple email accounts to scale our outreach. Now, most modern email sending platforms allow you to connect unlimited email accounts, and the software will automatically rotate every single account to make sure that the overall and the entire volume is evenly distributed throughout all these email accounts. Now, how this works in practice is you definitely need to purchase dedicated cold email domains, and you can use any domain or hosting platform like GoDaddy, Porkbun, and so on. I personally use Porkbun, but you can use essentially any platform. And you need to purchase lookalike domains, which means similar domains to your primary website domain. For example, if your company's domain is company.com, you would purchase trycompany.com, companyteam.com, or similar domains. And after that, the next step would be to redirect all the traffic from these cold email domains to your main website domain. We want to enable 301 redirection. And the reason why we're doing this is, let's say you send a cold email from john@trycompany.com. A small percentage of people would actually copy the entire domain from the email they just received from you and paste it in the search tab. So what we want to do is redirect all that traffic to your main website. So when people do this, they actually see what you do, what your company does, who you are, what's your target audience, and so on. So we definitely want to redirect all the traffic. And lastly, we only want to purchase .com domains. Now, I see a lot of people here trying to cut corners and purchase .org, .info, or other similar and cheaper options. Turns out those cheaper options usually have lower reputation, and those domains are usually land on blacklist much sooner than .com domains. Ultimately, it's not worth saving a couple of bucks if you're going to ruin your reputation in a couple of weeks. So always go from .com domains. And one more important thing is we don't want to use any special characters, any numbers, or anything like that in the cold email domain that we're purchasing. After we have, let's say, 10 domains, we definitely want to set up email accounts. So my infrastructure of choice is Google Workspace accounts. I've tested every single cold email infrastructure, from private servers through private accounts, Outlook, Azure accounts, every single infrastructure. And by far, Google Workspace accounts are definitely the best option out there. So what we want to do is set up 2 or 3 email accounts per domain. In this case, let's say you purchased your company or trycompany.com, you would set up something like first name at company.com, first name dot last name at company.com, and so on. The safest option here is to set up 2 email accounts per domain, but you can also do 3. I personally set up 3 email accounts per domain. Why Google? It has the highest market share and it's less likely to get blocked. Deliverability is strong to both Google and non-Google platforms, and they last the longest. As I said, there are cheaper alternatives, but they usually land on blacklists much sooner. Google Workspace accounts are usually pretty expensive. Like, they charge $8.5 per email account per month, which is crazy in my opinion. So the best option here is to actually use Google resellers. Now, resellers, what they do is they purchase these accounts in bulk and they can afford to sell these inboxes at much lower rates. Another benefit is these resellers usually set up the entire technical infrastructure, all the DNS settings and everything behind the scenes automatically for you. So you need to spend 5 minutes to purchase these accounts, and you're saving hours and hours of technical configuration and all these boring things that need to happen for your deliverability to actually be stable. An important thing here is that if you search for these resellers online, you want to make sure they're using US or EU based email accounts or workspaces. This is crucial because, again, these have the highest possible reputation. If you've done your research or tried to find the best email infrastructure option, you're most likely landed on private SMTP providers. Now, what these people do is they actually rent the entire servers and they set up their own email accounts, which are usually much cheaper than Google, Microsoft, or others. And they sell these accounts for cold email purposes. Now, it's true, they're usually cheaper. Sometimes they can even be 5 times cheaper, but of course that comes with a huge cost. These accounts usually last 2 to 3 months because just think about it. Let's compare Google's shared server versus someone's private server, but from a completely random person. Which one do you think have higher chances of landing in primary inbox? It doesn't matter that Google Workspaces are actually shared servers and not private infrastructure, because it's Google. Everyone trusts them. We know that they provide email account services and so on. So the chances of them landing in spam are much lower than from some random person who made you a private infrastructure. So yeah, these email accounts are actually private, but in this case, private is actually worse than shared Google accounts. So in my opinion, you should skip and run away from all these private SMTP providers. Now, let me show you how it works in practice, because we're one of these Google Workspace account resellers. Inside of our platform, Prospi, you can essentially enter all this information, like enter your cold email domains, your hosting platform, how many accounts you have and you buy the accounts, you purchase the accounts directly from the platform, and within 12 hours you have all the accounts ready, fully configured with all the technical settings and warm up enabled. This is how most of these providers nowadays work. At this point, we have domains ready, we have email accounts ready, and it's finally time to enable the warm up process. Let me show you how it works. This is the rule that we follow and that all of our customers, users, clients follow as well. We send the maximum of 120 emails per domain. Now, what's important here is that this volume includes both cold emails and warm-up emails, which means that, let's say we have 3 email accounts, and if we want to send 120 emails per domain per day, that means that each email account can only send 40 emails per day. Now, during the warm-up phase, which is usually first 2 weeks, we don't send any cold emails at all. And during the first week, we only send 10 to 15 warm-up emails per account per day. Week 2, we ramp up the volume to 15 to 20. And after 2 weeks, and only after 2 weeks, we actually start sending cold emails. So in week 3, we can actually start sending 5 to 10 cold emails per account per day. Now, keep in mind, during week 3, week 4, and going forward, the warm-up process is still enabled. That's why at this point we said 40 emails each, or 40 emails per email account per day, but we need to send 20 warm-up emails. So that means that even after 4 weeks, the maximum cold emails that we can send in a single day from a single account is actually 20. Trust me, I've tested every single approach with more warm-up emails, less, longer warm-up period. This is definitely the best possible approach. We have the warm-up ready. It's time to write our copy. The next and most obvious reason why cold emails land in spam is because of the spammy content. People try to use words like free, act now, limited time offer, 100% money back guarantee and stuff like that in the cold email, and then wonder why no one replies. No one replies because if you're using these words, your emails are definitely landing spam, because email is actually one of the platforms, unfortunately, that's used mostly by spammers, so they ruined it for everybody else, and now people who just want to send regular cold emails can't use these words. Another one is all capital letters. Definitely avoid that. And the next thing that many people are at first scared about is that you can't send links or images in the first cold email. In theory, you could do that, but 20 emails per day is too much if you're sending links or images. So we usually avoid that in the initial cold email, but we can use links and images in the follow-ups as well. So after that, of course, we want to make sure that our copy is actually relevant and personalized. So if you're sending generic copy and every single email looks the same, you're definitely going to land in spam. Now, this is all theory. Let me show you how it works in practice. Let's read this email, and I guarantee you, if you open up your spam folder, you'll definitely see some emails like this. So, hey there, my name is John, and I represent Acme Incorporated, a marketing agency based in California. We provide cutting-edge services like web design, SEO, paid ads. We can help you add $30,000 in monthly revenue, and we provide 100% money-back guarantee. Please look at our case studies and then link 1, link 2, link 3. I'm attaching a free proposal PDF for your convenience. Of course, this is a bit exaggerated, but you see the point. Like, there's a lot of red flags in these emails that the spam filters are actively looking for. Let me show you what it would look like if you wanted to send the exact same email, but following all the rules that I just mentioned. Hi, Jovan. If I can help Codeful double website conversion rates, would that help you scale? I've made a personalized document that explains how we helped Acme Incorporated get 2 to 3 more clients per month on a performance basis. Can I send it over? As you can see, no links, no spammy words, and no attachments in the email. This one is a bit more technical, and if you're using resellers, you don't need to worry about this because most resellers actually do this on your behalf, but we definitely want to have all the DNS authentication records configured properly. These include SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. You can see here, this is quite technical, and there's plenty of tutorials online on how you can do this, but if you're setting up your own email accounts, you definitely want to take care of this. If not, if you're using resellers, you can skip this because we and other resellers actually do this on your behalf. The next one is obvious, but many people completely forget about it, and that one is high complaint rate. If people just mark your emails as spam or junk, it sends a clear signal to email providers that your message is unwanted. A high complaint rate not only harms the reputation of the account that sends the email, but also affects the entire domain reputation. And remember, if your domain lands on a blacklist, every single email account from that domain, configured on that single or particular domain, is also going to land in spam. That's why we want to make our messages personalized, relevant, and so on to lower the chances of people actually reporting us. Now, the next one is similar, but still different, and it's low engagement rates. Now, a couple of years ago, the most obvious factor for spam checkers was complaint rate, but they also started introducing engagement rate filters. For example, if people decide to ignore your emails or delete them or they don't open them at all, it's also a signal that your content is not made for them and it's not engaging. So people don't necessarily have to report you as a spammer, but if most people just delete your emails, it's also a clear signal that your message is unwanted. And that's the problem, and the solution for this. And to fix low engagement, you need to focus on personalized and relevant messaging tailored to the recipient's interests. Now, you can watch some of my other videos to see how you can achieve this, but what we do is we use AI to personalize every single email that we send, and that's how we fix the low engagement issues. High engagement isn't just a bonus, it's essential for staying out of the spam folder. As I said, now, if you're sending cold emails for a couple of weeks and no one replies to your emails, it's a clear signal to all spam filters and spam checkers that your emails deserve to be in spam and not in primary inbox folder. The next one would be email list quality issues. If you're sending emails to outdated, unverified, or irrelevant contacts, it can result in high bounce rates and low engagement, which is even worse than just the low engagement on its own. Now, this is what it usually looks like when your emails bounce. So, for example, if you're sending cold emails and you haven't verified the lead list or the emails from your lead list, you're going to receive this message, and it's okay if it happens sometime. For example, our bounce rate is less than 0.1%. But we had some cases where people come to us and they say their bounce rates are 14%. Just imagine that, like you're Google and you're trying to decide if someone is sending thousands of emails to a purchased list, and you see that 14% of the emails they send actually bounce, which is a clear factor, a clear signal that they purchased the list and they're just spamming all these people. So we definitely want to make sure that the email list is as clean as possible. So to sum it up, there's a couple of different things that you can do to make sure you're not landing in spam. You need to set up multiple domains and accounts. You need to configure all the DNS settings or ask your reseller to do it for you. You can perform placement tests to determine whether your emails are landing in spam or inbox. You need to build targeted lead lists to make sure that you're contacting the right people. You need to make sure that all the emails on the list are 100% valid and verified. You need to write personalized and unique emails, and you need to maintain high campaign engagement by writing relevant emails. This seems like a lot, but trust me, once you start doing this, it's going to become a routine, especially since 50% of this is not even done by you, but by people who set up your email accounts. So I hope this video was helpful, and trust me, if you follow all these practices, you're more than safe, and then you can focus on actually writing better copy and closing more deals. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel because I'll be posting useful videos like this every single week.